To truly grow your clothing brand, we need to define what strategy is because so many people use the term loosely, and honestly, I did for way too long as well. Harvard Business Review defines it like this. Planning is like making a list of rules and steps for everyone to follow to play the game. And then strategy is about figuring out the smartest way to win, like deciding where to move or what to do to outsmart other people. So planning tells you what to do, but strategy helps you to make the choices to be the best at it. And I think what happens is people combine the word strategic planning. I don't think those two words should be combined together as much as they actually are. I want to jump into that today. I want to talk about strategy and how to grow your business. I want to take your clothing brand from ordinary to extraordinary. Now, whether you're at your first 5K month or whether you're trying to hit 100K plus per month, this video will give you step-by-step strategy to grow your clothing business just like this brand and this brand or this brand. So I'm going to be referencing back to this document throughout this video and then making sure that I walk through and explain a little bit more for you guys. So this is essentially the framework strategy document that we have used to help our program members. Typically, a customer success manager would go through this and define it specifically for that brand owner. However, I'm going to go through them with you as well. There's basically 5 pillars that we have created to help grow the clothing brands online. And as I mentioned earlier, planning is about all the things that you need to do. Strategy is the way that you actually get there. Now let's jump into number 1 here. So the very first pillar is website optimization. So number 1, website. The goal is to be between 1.5% and 2%. Your brand may be a little bit different. That's why here we want to get the conversion rate up to 2.5% and have a high functioning site. Make sure that it has a great user experience. Great being the operative word here, but conduct a full website audit, be objective here. You want to figure out what your users are actually doing on the site before you go and make a bunch of changes. So don't do your initial audit of yourself. You want to look at your speed, user experience, so check out what your website looks like on mobile. I think a lot of people design on desktop and then don't do something on mobile. Google has a speed test, GT Metrics has a speed test, but you can just Google them. There's a lot of speed tests to look at for it, and it will give you a grading system. The other thing is to look at what apps you have. Can you consolidate your apps and just make it 2 to 3, 4, 5 apps, not have 15, 20, 30 apps. The app that we suggest, honestly, is Joofy. So what's cool about Joofy, and different than most other chat options, and I was talking to this team, and we are partnered with them just as a heads up. I was talking to the team, and what's really cool is, one, you can train the AI to talk like you, and it's a 24-hour salesperson, and that's the difference, is that one is a chat option and one is a salesperson. And whether you use the word sales and you don't like it or not, the point is that it's going to make you more money. Really, really cool. There's a lot of, I think, great things here. Not only the cart abandonment, not only the integration to Instagram, but like I said, the training option is well established as far as you being able to use ChatGPT to make this. So I do like that as a better option than I do other chat options where it's really just talk to a customer. I would rather have a salesperson to suggest and give me the best opportunity to make more money. So going back over to this document, like I said, you do a website audit, you would obviously go a little bit more in depth for this. Make incremental improvements based on the data, so optimizing product pages, etc. Implement A/B testing, homepage layout, like I mentioned earlier, call to action buttons, try something a little bit different. Your checkout process, Shopify is pretty much similar to this. Do I have to click on multiple products to actually get to something or before I can actually check out? Metrics to track. Again, website conversion rate. I want you to be at a 2% or above, depending on your average order value. If you're a newer brand, anywhere between 1 and 1.5, I'm solid. I'm good. Most people are 0.5 or less. Bounce rate, below 40%. What does this mean? It means that site isn't loading or they're not getting to what they need to, so they just leave the site. That's a huge, huge number that you've got to pay attention to. Google looks at it as well, so if you're trying to rank on Google for SEO purposes. Average order value. I always tell people, look, you want to be as north of $75 as possible. I know some people are only selling just t-shirts, and that's completely fine. Some people are only selling sweatshirts, some people are only selling shorts or dresses or wherever. We still need to figure out a way, whether it's a bundling app, like I said, mentioned earlier, Vitals, or you use Joofy, whatever it may be, you gotta figure out a way to get you to above $75. It's that nice little sweet spot. We'll talk about a couple of things here in a second to help you, or the second, third, fourth pillar, but you really gotta make sure that you are above $75 for average order value. It makes all of your ads and marketing much easier. A couple of cool tools. So Hotjar, I recommend that. Again, no affiliation. You can use Vitals for free. That's what we do. Google Analytics and Lucky Orange, like I said, there's more details than Vitals, but really you probably don't even need it. Before we jump into number 2 and talk about traffic, I want to say a quick hey, howdy, and hello. My name's Aaron. I'm one of the co-founders here at Bit Branding, and alongside my business partner Christian, who focuses on the design, Shopify side of things, we've helped over 250 clothing brands in the last 12 months alone. Not only do that, but help them grow profitably. Now, before we dive in, I would really appreciate it if you would give us a nice little like and subscribe. If you found any value in this video so far, it really does help us out. And guess what? It is for free. If you do this in the next 3 seconds, I'll share with you the best comedy movie, based off of my opinion, from 1998. Your website is your storefront, and first impressions matter. If visitors don't feel confident or excited when they land on your site, they won't buy. Start with a full audit using a tool like Google Analytics or Vitals or Hotjar. Identify the problems and make sure that your navigation is actually intuitive. Are your product pages clear? Are they compelling? Is the checkout process seamless? Is it easy to do? A couple of quick pro tips for this in that first pillar though, just so you guys know kind of the strategy behind this. Add customer reviews to improve the conversion rate. Implement a fast loading theme. We have a whole bunch of videos that we do where we suggest the best themes right now. So a fast loading theme, and make sure your call to actions are actually bold and direct. Every single second counts here when you're talking about a website. I promise you the difference between 1 second, I can't remember what they said the number is, so don't quote me here, but it's roughly like 10% of people for every second that it takes longer over 3 seconds to load. If it takes 3 seconds, you're good. If it takes 4 seconds, you lose 10% of potential customers. That's a lot. So let's not do that. So number 2 is traffic. This is the lifeblood of your clothing brand. To grow consistently, you need both paid and organic strategies working together. For paid ads, I suggest Facebook and Instagram. They're still the kind of the gold mines. These are the places where I suggest most brands, whether you're just starting out or even scaling up, there is so much data. It is doing very well. Doesn't mean you don't dabble in something like TikTok or Snapchat or even maybe Pinterest, but Facebook, Instagram, still killing it there. So pillar 2, like I said, both organic and paid. The action plan here, so dynamic creative testing, and I'll actually put this in here for you guys. This is also flexible. That has changed. Dynamic creative testing is still available until summer of 2025, and then after that it moves to flexible. Doesn't change too much. We'll talk about a video with Facebook ads a little bit later. Prospecting, going after completely new customers. Retargeting, I don't really like to do retargeting with the paid side of things. I like to do it with organic, because organic and paid, again, it's kind of meshing, working together. Building organic traffic. I mentioned here, right, content marketing, blog, SEO, okay? So that is the one that, that's a little bit of a strategy. You can use them. It's not the sexy piece, but it is the part that does drive actual traffic, and we've had many brand owners who are like, look, I can't post content on social. I'm not the best at doing that. I'm gonna go a little bit more old school here and create some blogs, or I'm gonna create some content that doesn't really have my face on there. You can do that. I do not necessarily suggest that over what I'm getting ready to talk about. However, it is an option, and it is something that always, again, it's nice to supplement. It is an option to use in addition to it. What I would really suggest for you to do, the strategy here is very simple. The best way to reach more people is creating Reels or TikToks, short form video content, because it's getting the most push. And then video carousels. You guys have probably seen it too, right? You have like an image and an image and then an image, and then it shows up whenever you're on Instagram, for example. It will show you image number 2 first, so that you have to scroll back to 1. You see 1, and then you go look at 3, 4, whatever. Instagram also mentioned, I think that people have up to, 20 now. So you can do roughly up to 20 on the actual carousel, which is pretty cool. Highly suggest creating the content actually over here on social media, on Facebook, Instagram. Now, my order of preference for you guys, there's really 7 main platforms you can be on or should be on, but my order preference for this is very simple. Number 1, Instagram, then TikTok, then Facebook, then YouTube Shorts, and Facebook kind of very closely. And then if it starts to make sense, Pinterest and then Snapchat. Not that they're not effective, but that's kind of my priority list here. And I want you to be everywhere, but also I know that, especially if you're just starting out, it's difficult to do so. So that's your priority list. I also mentioned here driving traffic. I would start to look at doing UGC campaigns or user-generated content. So seeding some products to people. Expect nothing in return. Just send them an actual product, but don't just send it to the people who have millions of followers. Go find for micro-influencers. The strategy for 2025, I promise you, is going to continue to be more micro, and it's really, really just going to be around who can create content. I don't care how many followers you got. I just need to know if you can create content, because I know that this stuff right here, you're going to reach people. I saw a brand the other day. They just film each other. They're like 55, 60 years old, and they just film each other and put music in the background. And it's just intriguing for whatever reason. And they have like 30,000 followers, but they're getting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 views for every video that they have. And it's just this husband like sitting down, like talking, not really doing anything. You can't hear him talk. And then it will turn to his wife, and then you can just see like her fit. And that's it. That is literally it. And it's blowing up. So don't ask me. I have no clue. But I'm just going after those people. Really, at the end of the day, that's what I'm going after. A couple of metrics to track here. So monthly visitors, let's say, for example, I just filled these in. If you got 100, the target is 10,000. 10,000 is the gold standard to getting to your first $10,000 month. If you get to $10,000 a month without 10,000 people, like, you're doing something right. I always like to look at it as, for every person who comes to your site, you're basically getting $1 in return. Pretty solid spot, especially in the beginning. I have some brands that get 5,000 people to the site and then make $10,000. And that's like, you know you got a strong brand, you're just not spending enough money on ads. That's plain and simple. Launch new testing campaigns. We have a very specific way we talk through launching a campaign. If you're spending $100 a day, you can launch 3 concepts. If you are spending less than that, launch 1 concept. So you will select a focus, whether it's evergreen, whether you have deep in stock in something. You will find an offer. An offer does not need to be a discount. You will pick your creative concepts. These are all videos, like for example, these are like fit videos, or the way we label fit videos. It's over on a link called Foreplay. So essentially it's people talking, wearing the outfits, and showcasing what it looks like to wear the product, okay? They do really, really well. You pick your creative concepts, then you'll go through implementation. I always tell people you should be running the ads for 7 days. I put a different word here, but I don't know if I can use it in the video. So just turn off the losers, leave on the winners, scale by 5% every single day, as long as you have the actual inventory. And this is the timeline, rinse and repeat. If you want this Foreplay board, I update this, and there's ones that have hundreds. So if you want that one, just comment the word Foreplay down below. I will go ahead and send it over to you. Recommended tools. So Meta Ads Manager, free. That's where I would start. Ahrefs, again, you don't need it, but it's an option if you're going to go the SEO and content route. Sprout Social, if you want to manage campaigns. As you can see, like, this document is one that's a living, breathing. Like, we've changed it so many times, and right now, like, I'm changing it in real time for you. That's what's great about a strategy. And so many people don't realize the difference between planning and strategy. Planning, you do these things. Strategy, you adjust on the fly. If I'm playing a board game and I'm trying to get, to 21 and I'm at 18 and I know my next card probability is to go over 21, I'm going to change my game, right? I'm going to change the way I'm going to approach the game because I'm trying to win. Right now, later is a much better option than Sprout Social, so I'm going to change that for you. I think it's also a little bit more cost effective too. Okay, before we talk about getting into the profit side of things, email, SMS, I just want to say, hold up 1 second. I'm going to say, hey, look, if you're a clothing brand owner, boutique owner, you sell clothes for a living. If you want to jump into the specifics of your strategy, why it's working, why it's not working, you can schedule a free 45-minute strategy call with us. Just check out the link in the description down below. There are limited spots, so we'll see you on the other side. Number 3, very simple, very easily done. I will relabel this, and right as we scroll down, this 3 area, I mentioned it as email and SMS. It is the profit in your business. So for 2025, 2026, whenever you're watching this actual video, if you do not have email and SMS set up, I will tell you right now, it is an absolute mistake. So many brands make the mistake of not using email and SMS. Here's a thing that most people overlook. 30% of your revenue can and should come from email and SMS. We use tools like Klaviyo to automate emails, like welcome emails, abandoned carts, post-purchase flows, SMS. We send exclusive deals, but we keep it all personal. You should absolutely do that. Again, if you hear me harping on this, it's because I want you to make money. There's a brand, I will not mention this brand, but I will tell you, or the specifics of the brand, but I will tell you that they do a significant amount of revenue, like about $3 million a year, which is a pretty good sized brand. When I audited their account and was talking with our executive consultant who was meeting with them first, they were saying like, yeah, we do like $3 million a year. I was like, cool, awesome, you guys are amazing. Like, how can we actually help? Like, do you guys, really need us? You're great, running the gun. And they're like, well, we're just not profitable in ads. I'm like, okay, I completely understand. Do you know your numbers? No, we don't really know our numbers. Okay, but then we dove deeper, and what did we find out? How many people are on your guys' email list? So like 90,000. I was like, okay. Engaged list, like, yeah, 60, 65,000. It's like, okay, cool. How many emails a week are you guys sending? Right now, just one. And I was like, whoa. One for 65,000 people? Like, I send 2 to 3 emails for 1,000 people. So have you guys segmented? No, we haven't segmented. Oh, so it's just an engaged list that you send to everybody. Yep. Okay, so talking strategy-wise, you should be segmenting to your list. You should be sending 2 to 3 emails per week. You are not going to annoy people, I promise you. It's only annoying if you don't have something of value to say. But honestly, if you're not in front of somebody, you're gonna have so many messages that are missed and potentially losing customers. Your job is to help them by cutting down the gap between what they want and what you sell. That's it. Kind of action plan here. And just to give you context back to the story, hopefully there's a happy ending with this. They did start sending more emails and they did start making a significant amount of money. They lost in that, I think, 8-month period, about $350,000 because they didn't send out emails. A lot of money, but they have rectified that now. Please don't be that person or that brand. Action plan here, like I said, 30% of this, the revenue should be from email and SMS. You gotta set up your automatic flows. We have those available. If you want that, just comment the word flows down below. We'll send them and put them into your Klaviyo account for you. Easy peasy. Number 2, segment your list. Make sure that it's personalized. Make sure that you're actually talking to that person. I like to find out birthdays. I like to find out as much as I possibly can. Age. If you're selling to men and women, I want to know if they are buying for men or for women. Personalize as much as humanly possible here. 3 emails per week, 1 to 2 SMS per week as well. A couple of metrics to track. Email revenue, percentage, target, like I said, 30%. SMS open rate should be in that 90-ish percentile if you are not there. A couple of things you can do: set up automatic flows, make sure to use more catchy subject lines. Tools: Klaviyo, Postpilot, and Attentive. We are partners with all 3 of them. I do recommend Klaviyo over all of them. If you're just doing SMS, Attentive is probably fine. Same thing with Postscript. Not Postpilot. We can leave it on here. Honestly, Postpilot's completely fine too. I'll just give you guys a little bit of insight. Postscript is another option outside of Attentive and Klaviyo. Postpilot, completely different. Nobody ever takes me up on this. I wish that they did. If you are doing well over 7 figures a year, please look into Postpilot. I believe there's a deal down in the description, but this is taking Klaviyo, people who have engaged with you but have not purchased, and you're able to send them a postcard for like $1, $1.50 or whatever. So very personalized, and it does really, really well. So please, somebody take me up on this offer. I mean, it's so hard to get people to do snail mail stuff again. And remember, strategy is zigging with other people zag, and that's exactly what Postpilot is. A couple of quick tips for this strategy-wise that a lot of people don't do. They always sell in the email and SMS. I would focus on telling stories. I would focus on customer reviews, adding social proof, and I would show behind the scenes. That's a great way to increase the email open rate and improve engagement. Remember, the only thing that's not a commodity is brand. Everything else is a commodity. If you guys are Gary Vee fans, he talks about this a lot. If you're not building a brand, right, so not showing the behind the scenes, not showing anything else, very difficult to stick around, especially in the future, especially in 2025 as we get more and more AI development. All right, so number 4 is customer experience. Very, very important. And honestly, probably one of the most fun parts of growing a business. A lot of people focus on this more. They have the greatest packaging in the world, but then they don't know how to get customers. So do not go to this part because it's easy. Go to this part because you're trying to build a brand. Customer experience ends with the sale, right? No, it doesn't. It doesn't end with the sale. It's where brand loyalty actually begins. Audit your unboxing experience by ordering your product. And for us, we always order from our customers. I try to do from as many people as possible to figure out what people are doing that are different. But you should buy from yourself and go through your experience. Are there thoughtful touches like thank you notes or free samples? And I always tell every single person in our program, you must send a handwritten note if you want to grow, if you want to make money. And I always mention with that comment, like, do you want to make money? Yes. Okay, great. Then do a handwritten written note. Do the unscalable. Are there free samples? Are there free stickers? I know with this brand, Ghosty, shout out to them again, but what they did is they gave me 2 ghosts. One of them I think is on my desk, and the other one my daughter used for something else that she was coloring. She loved it too. But we like the free samples, I remember. The other thing, how fast is your shipping? If you order today, am I getting it in a couple of days, or am I waiting 10, 15, 20 days? That's all part of this customer experience. You've got to have a good customer experience. One of the biggest ways that you can tell if you have a great customer experience is the retention rate. Enhance customer retention and lifetime value, so how much a customer is worth to you. I look at that as 30, 60, 90 days, 12 months, by optimizing packaging, shipping, and support services. Like I mentioned earlier, you can use a tool like Joofy. It's going to help your support services and your sales side of things as well. Highly suggest that. Action plan. Audit the unboxing, like I mentioned. Add personalized touches, like I mentioned. Improve the shipping speed. You can use a tool like ShipStation. Those are usually pretty good options as well. Really always be trying to figure out what you can do to add a level of excellence to the brand. Metrics to check. Customer retention rate is blank. Introduce, and now the target is 10, right? We're not gonna go from 0 to 15, 20, whatever, but we need to take logical next steps. Introduce loyalty perks. That's something you can do there. There's a lot of loyalty apps out there. We actually have videos on how to install them and whatever else, but like, what apps can you actually use? One of the biggest retention tools that we've ever used, and I think is going to be the biggest, and I'll probably do a video on this, and if you guys want it, just let me know down in the comments and I'll do the video, but predictions for this year. One of the biggest predictions that I have is that we're going to see a lot more of this video by Comment Sold. So we have been Comment Sold partners for almost 5 years now, one of the very first agencies, and it is QVC meets social media. How can I talk to you as a customer and talk about this fit? It's a great material. It's not some kind of standard entry-level Gildan. It's actually thicker. It's a little bit oversized, which I like. I know I got a t-shirt underneath it, but the material is good. This isn't going to fade off when I wash it. It looks like it's a high-quality material, feels premium. I can do that and then tell you, this is a crew neck long sleeve sweater, and right now it is $35, but for everybody who buys in the next 15 minutes, it's going to be $29. You're going to get an amazing deal, whatever it is. But I can talk about the fit. Hey, look, if you're normally a medium, probably size up, get a large, even with that kind of oversized fit look. But I can do all of those things. Okay, so video going to be very, very important. Another way to help customer experience, and also some people do it to make a little bit of money, you can use a tool like Route, add insurance to the product just to make sure that you're not going to run into any type of issues. Somebody stealing packages. Unfortunately, those people do live out here in the world, and the last thing you want to do is be out any money or not give an option for the customer to be taken care of. So please make sure to do that. I think a couple of things that you should be thinking about, all right, investing in tools like Route, like I just mentioned, it gives you updates. Consider a loyalty program, like I mentioned, and just encourage those repeat purchasers. I always tell people, and this is the number you should look at, in any period of time, I really want about 40% of customers coming back. Whatever it is, but really kind of like 40% of customers in 30 days. If you don't get a customer to come back, if you don't have 40% of customers coming back within the 90-day mark, you got something that's going on with the customer experience that needs to be handled right away. Otherwise, you're really going to run into some issues and the brand won't grow. You're not building a brand, you're just building a product, and then it becomes a commodity, right? Just another shirt, another logo, another dress, and no difference. Now, this fifth pillar, probably my favorite part of growing a brand, and probably the part that will actually make you a brand as you go into this next year. And whether you're watching this in January, December, or February, March, doesn't matter. Your year can start at any point. You can change everything. You don't have to wait till a specific date. I would also highly suggest the book, The 12-Week Year, because you look at it in a smaller time frame. So 12 weeks turns into a year, and you got 4 years basically that happen instead of 1 year within itself. It's very, very powerful, so go check it out. It's a very easy read, The 12-Week Year. So the fifth area is your messaging and branding. Without clear messaging, without a brand, it is very difficult to grow. Alex Hormozi described, I think, this really well, or maybe Gary Vee, which is that messaging is the way that you communicate around the brand. The brand is actually the association. He mentioned this in a story. It's like branding was really just like labeling cows so that people knew when to return the cows back to the right place. Or if you didn't like the cow owner or the farmer down the street, you maybe just didn't find that cow anymore, or he went somewhere else. But brand was about association. I'm going to change this up. I had one of you guys mention it. So I will say not a Christian streetwear brand from Texas. I will say a clothing boutique out of Mississippi. If they wanted to associate themselves with the right people, they may look at doing something with Ole Miss. Well, if people in Mississippi already like Ole Miss, well then they have association together, and now the brand for each one of them is going to go up. Obviously win-win. So if that's a great association. If you have the inverse effect, if you had a brand that was in Mississippi and all they had there was stuff from Florida or Florida State, they may have a lesser experience because of association, and the branding actually may be really, really bad. Or they could be involved with something that's illegal, whatever. That would be bad association. But your brand, your messaging, your brand identity, the color scheme, the logo, all of those things, they are wrapped up into one. Really, it comes down to what are you associated with and whom are you associated with? Not really so much what does my logo look like and is it cool or not. That plays a very small part. But your messaging, your branding does play a part here. So let's talk through it. Action plan for you, right? Increase influencer collaborations using platforms like Incense. We use Incense. You can use Shopify Collabs. It's free. There's other options out there as well. But essentially, who can you collaborate with that already has a higher association or perceived association in your industry or in your community? If you're a soccer brand, well, it'd be pretty dang cool if you got Messi to endorse you. Do it on the micro level, just as my prediction. Micro level is going to be extremely, extremely important. Number 2, post high quality UGC content 3 to 5 times per week. Now, UGC doesn't have to be separate people. It can be you. If you're a women's athletic line, guess what? It can be you posting that content, but you can get other variations or people. And just so you guys know, just kind of speaking of the calendar of how much I want you to post, a lot, because you're going to get better at it. So look at it this way. So this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Let me just tell you, strategy-wise, you may say this is a lot good if you want to grow your business. That's why you're watching this video. There's not some easy way. I'm not going to drive away in a Lamborghini, which would be pretty cool. Maybe I'd do that just so you'll listen to me more. I don't know. Hopefully the numbers on the screen speak for themselves. But I want you to post 3 times a day here, 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 and here. Oh yeah, so that many times per week, every single day. You work up to that point, and that's completely fine. But what I do want is short form content. So 2 pieces of short form content and 1 video carousel. And do that throughout. Minimum, you need to do this for 30 days. It's about working that muscle. This is not necessarily quality and quantity, it's both, right? So the highest amount of quality that you can get to with the most amount of quantity that you can as well, and you will become better. You will beat everybody else. And you're questioning right now, you're like, that's a lot of freaking work. Yes, it is. So is building a business. Very, very few people. I think the statistic is, and I'll put it up here for you guys, because I don't want you to be this number. 80% of clothing brands are not in existence after 2 years. 80%. After 5 years is even higher. Do not be this statistic. Do not skip out on the work here or any of these pillars and then expect for you to stick around. And I'm talking long term, right? Anybody can stick around for a year or 2 years. I mean, a lot of people do. But 80% of them are out in 2 years. 24, 36, 50, 60 months. I'm looking at this as like, can you have a brand for decades? And if not, it becomes a little bit more difficult. But that's the whole point. That's the whole reason that you're starting this thing. Getting back to on track here. These are your action items here. Metrics to kind of, I would say, track. Social media engagement, 20%, super freaking, I mean, it's great, it's killer. Honestly, depending on how many followers you have, 10% is also good. Anything below that 10%, 8%, 5%, you gotta look at recreating the content. Check out again the foreplay link, just comment foreplay down below, get some inspiration. Organic traffic, search traffic, month over month, I just want you to look at how do I add 10%? How do I add 10%? I know here I said 15%, but like posting content consistently, driving 10% of traffic, right? If you get 300 people, that's it, right? We're just gonna get 30 more people to the site, 330, right? And then the next month, we're gonna jump up and just keep growing. You don't have to do quantum leaps, but we wanna increase that. Recommended tools, you can use Canva, you can use Incense. I also would write in here CapCut as well. It's completely free. You can use any Adobe products, but Canva, CapCut, Incense, or Shopify Collabs. That's also free. Connect with influencers, reaching out to people, all possibilities here. So please, please, please make sure that you are focusing on this messaging, this branding, creating content, getting better, getting clear on who your actual target audience actually is. So we had an OSO member, or our optimized store in a program for clothing brands. We had a guy who was just starting out, was not posting at all. I mean, it was actually a brand new company. And what he did really well was just follow the process of like creating content. So, I mean, he was posting a lot. Went from 0 to 5, maybe 6, maybe 10,000 followers, which is cool. He wanted the followers. I told him it really didn't matter, especially now. It's a whole nother conversation. But he had the engagement too. Some videos got 10, 20, 30, 50, 100,000 plus views. He had all of this traffic. This all happened within a 90-day to 120-day span where he grew that quickly. And it's very possible for you as well to just like work that muscle. And I'm not saying it's easy by any means. I think a lot of people kind of sugarcoat it on the internet so that you'll come back to watch the videos. I will not do that for you. Please still come back. Please. But I do want to make sure that you grow your business. And so if you don't do these things, it's going to be very difficult to grow. And I hope that I've delivered on the value for this video, like things that you can go and use and execute and maneuver. And more importantly, if you want this document, by the way, I left it at the end. Just comment the word strategy down below and I'll send you over a link to this so you can fill it out for yourself. But I left it at the end for all the people who paid attention throughout, because it does you no good to just download the document and fill something out. I want to reward the people who watch this video. If you are looking to drive traffic with your clothing brand, the best way to do it is with meta ads. I created a video on how to do it right here next. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time. And P.S. make sure you subscribe.